Joining us now from Austin, Texas, Attorney General Ken Paxton. Attorney General, does your state have all the resources it needs to deal with this unprecedented weather event right now?
Look, we're accumulating those resources thanks to the help of the federal government, local officials. I don't think I've ever seen better coordination among government officials. The governor of our state, Governor Abbott, is doing a really amazing job. Given the fact that this is a storm that's unprecedented for Texas, it's going to obviously lasting for days and days and will have an impact on us for obviously months and months. So we don't have everything we need yet, but it's coming in, and our focus really has been on rescue and saving lives.
Right. We heard that from Brock Long, who's heading to the region, the head of FEMA, that this is not a recovery effort. This is a life safety, life-sustaining effort. But some has been made of the kind of what some have called mixed messages from the mayor of Houston, Sylvester Turner, and then the governor, Greg Abbott, of what they were telling residents at the end of last week, with Governor Abbott saying, particularly in the area between Corpus Christi and Houston, get out and evacuate if you can, but then the mayor saying stay in place. Some of that in reaction to what happened with Hurricane Rita and the more than 100 people who died during that evacuation. I'm curious what you think of that in terms of the mixed messages maybe that some people got about evacuating at the end of last week.
So look, there's going to be a lot of time after this to look at what we could have done differently. What I would say is that so far, given how severe this storm is and the wide range that it's covered up and down our coast, it's amazing really that the loss of life hasn't been more. You know, I don't know how you evacuate a city that is that large that quick, but maybe there was something we could have done different. Well, I think we'll learn from this, but I think that's for later. Right now, really the focus is it is saving lives, and I think there'll be a time to look at every part of this and see how we could have done better, because you can always do it better. Every storm is different.
Well said, Attorney General. Ken, what about the response from private industry, private business, in terms of doing anything they can to help to provide supplies, to get supplies out? What have you seen so far? Because we always focus on the government efforts, federal, state, local authorities, but what about private business?
You know what? It's actually been amazing. I've had discussions with companies like Home Depot who are putting up money and going to provide supplies. I think that's happening with individuals. It's happening with charities. People are donating to the Red Cross, which is very much appreciated right now. There are private organizations. There's a group called Minuteman that's doing it, that's coming in and helping from my area up in North Texas. We've got money coming in. I've talked to the Attorney General from Utah. He's putting together resources to provide help for people that are struggling. So it's really not just people in Texas, but we're getting help from all over the country, from companies all over the country. It really, despite the fact that we have trouble with some gouging, overall it's been remarkable how much help we've gotten from people all over.
Well, I'll stay on that for just a moment, because hours before Harvey even made landfall, I know that Texas state officials were receiving complaints from residents claiming that stores and individuals were gouging, jacking up prices of essentials like particularly bottled water. There's even people took video of folks trying to sell bottled water for like astronomical amounts of money. How many complaints has your office received so far? And again, this is after this storm is over. How do you plan to respond to these complaints?
Well, that's a really great question. Over the weekend, I had people working, taking phone calls. We had our office full of people, and on Saturday, we received 325 complaints. I don't know what the total is from yesterday. I'll find out when I get in the office this morning. So it is significant. I do think it helps that we've been out talking about it, because relative to a state of 28 million, you know, the numbers could be worse. I think a lot of people don't realize that gouging is a problem and that there is a consequence to it. In Texas, the fines are severe, up to $20,000 per occurrence, or if you gouge somebody that's over 65, it's up to $250,000. But we've seen this occur with hotel prices being doubled in some places. You know, yesterday we had bottled water being sold for $8.50 a bottle. But we're fortunate because of our internet site and people sending us pictures. It has allowed us to get to these people and say, hey, you can't do this. You need to stop.
You know, Ken, I'm really curious. As we're looking at this, we saw the images of the nursing home being rescued. We know that Houston is a huge medical center. You've got MD Anderson. There's Children's Hospital. It's a huge destination for that. Then we've got NASA there. What is the impact on those, and how can we help those patients and those, those doctors, nurses that are providing care for those folks?
That's another great question, and it is a challenge because so much of what's going on right now is really just trying to save lives like immediately, and so addressing things like that are challenging. I know that we have some private organizations coming in. I know that there's going to be more federal resources coming in, but we have a lot to deal with, especially given that this is still not over. Typically in a hurricane, it passes through, does its devastation, you have some flooding, but we're not going to have the end of this flooding until days, if not a week away. And this is an ongoing problem because it hinders our effort to really address search and rescue and then addressing the types of things you're just talking about there.
Mr. Attorney General, that's something that we've been pointing out all morning long. This storm is not over. This flooding is not over. That we look at it as if that now the people of Houston and the area, that part of Texas, can begin recovery. But in fact, up to 2 feet or more of rain is expected through the middle of this week. And that's a message to get out to the people of Texas, that if the rain stops, you need to be very careful about your movements, what you do, and that goes for anybody who might be coming into the area trying to help.
That's exactly right. And think about that city. It's obviously our largest city. It's the 4th largest city in America. It covers millions of people. They're going to have to deal with water and food, and as time goes on, that becomes a bigger challenge for us as people run out of resources. So, we are in uncharted, unprecedented territory, and that's why I am grateful. I really do think this has been the best effort on the state of Texas part, along with the federal government, to really step in and try to make a difference quickly, given the fact that this is just such a massive effort and such a massive problem for our state.
Attorney General Ken Paxton. Ken, good to see you this morning. Blessings to all the people of Texas.
Please keep us in your prayers. Thank you.